In this video, we will see what is continue in Kotlin, and then we will see an example to calculate the sum of n natural number using for loop. Okay, so what is continue, and in which cases continue is used? So suppose you are working with loops, and sometimes you want to skip the current iteration of the loop. Okay, so in such case continue is used. The continue construct skips the current iteration of the enclosing loop, and the control of program jumps to the end body of the loop. Okay, so let us now see that how continue works. So yeah, it is almost always used with if else construct. So for example, there is while some test expression, and test expression 1 I can say, and then there is a loop which has some code 1. Okay, and then after some set of code there is a if statement, that if test expression 2 is true. Okay, then I'll say I have to continue, and I'll just end the loop here, and then the if statement here, and there is some another block of code, say code 2. Okay, so what is happening here? Okay, I'll just end my while loop. Okay, so what is happening here is if the test expression 2 is evaluated to if the text expression 2 is evaluated to true, continue is executed, which skips all the codes inside the while loop after the iteration, which is the code 2 block. Okay, so there is some code 1 that is going to be executed after the while statement, and then if the test expression 2 is true, then it is going to go to the end of this while block and skip the code 2. Okay, so and if there is something with the if there is a do while loop. Okay, so there would be a do while loop like do code 1 if test expression 2 is true, continue, and then there is another set of code, and there is a while statement, while test expression 1. So now what happens when the test expression 2 is true, that the continue is going to be called, and then it is going to be skipped to the while statement, and then the test expression 1 is going to be checked, and then if it holds true, then it will go to the do loop. Okay, so let us go through the jump to the example of continue in Kotlin. Okay, okay. So suppose there is a for loop from 1 to 5, and if I is uh, if I is greater than 1 or less than 5, yeah, if I is greater than 1 and less than 5, we have to continue. Okay, so I'll just write the code one main for I in for I in 1 to 5, and then if okay, I'll include println I always printed. Okay, then if I is greater than 1 and I is less than 5, okay, which is equal in all case except when I is 1 and 5. Okay, so in this case I'll say that continue. Okay, and then I'll again write a print statement which says println dollar I not always printed. Okay, so when I go ahead and run this program, what I can see is when we run the program, um, okay, so when we run this program, it says that 1 always printed, 1 not always printed, 2 always printed, 3 always printed, 4 always printed, 5 always printed, and then 5 not always printed. Okay, so when the value of I is greater than 1 and less than 5, continue is executed, which skips the execution of this code. Println I is not always printed. Okay, however, the statement, this statement println I is always printed, is executed in each iteration of the loop, because this statement this statement exists before the continue construct. Okay, so now we will see some like real life example of it. So let's say I have to calculate the sum of positive numbers only. So before that we will calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Okay, so for calculating the sum of first n natural numbers, uh, the what we can do is we can use a for loop or any kind of loop. Okay, so let's say I have to make a program using the for loop. So I'll write the code and explain. Okay, so let's say I am declaring the variable num and I am giving the value of 100. Okay, so I have to calculate the sum of first 100 natural numbers. Okay, so there is a value, and let's say there is a variable sum which is initialized as 0 for the in the starting. Okay, so for I in 1 to num. Okay, so I in 1 to num. Now what are we going to do is I am going to do sum is equals to sum plus I. Okay, so I am going to add I in sum and equate it with it. So in order to write the code of it, sum plus equals to I. So this is the sum equals to sum plus I. So now whenever the loop iterates, every time the particular number is going to add with the sum. Okay, so at the end I'll print the sum. So I'll print sum is equals to sum. Now when I run this program, I should see the sum of first 100 natural numbers. So the sum of first 100 natural number is 5050. Okay, so now I have to calculate the sum of only positive numbers from 1 to 100. So now I have to make some changes in this program. So what I'll do is I'll this block of code is fine. Okay, so there is some integer and okay, so from 0 to 100 I have to calculate the sum of positive numbers only. So if before including the sum, if the number is okay, sorry, I have to mention here odd. Okay, my bad. I have to calculate the sum of odd numbers only. So from 1 to 100 I have to calculate the sum of odd numbers. So if the number is even, I have to continue. Okay, I have no I have to skip the rest of code. So what is the condition for a number to be even? So the condition is number must be when the number is divided by 2, the remainder must be 0. Okay, so when the number is even, I should continue. And now when I run this program, okay, so if I should be even, then I when divided by 2, the remainder should be 0. Okay, so when I divided by 2 and I is even, we should continue, and when I is not even, that is odd, we will skip to this block of code and calculate the sum. So when I run this program, I can see that the sum of odd numbers from 1 to 100 is 2500. Okay, so that's all for this video. Stay tuned.